trying to rush and get you the thing. I ain't even. And we back, man. What's going on, man? It's another episode of Weapons Gangsters. First episode of Powerful Conversations, Conversations of Power, however you want to put it, with the good brother Ishmael. I was doing it with the big homie Chemo, and the big homie got a lot of stuff going on right now, man. So I was just sitting back, and I'm thinking, I'm like, man, look, another guy that I can sit down and just talk about real power in different forms on a weekly basis, and because I respect points of views, and even when they differ and all that, and you just popped up. You was the first person that popped up in my head, man, because I listen to a lot of your walks and your talks, and
Okay.
I got a feel for what you stand on and how you operate and doing your thing, and I respect it, man. So I was like, yeah, I think that back and forth would be good for the conversations of power, man. So this is our first episode. Thank you for agreeing to be a part of it, and
Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother.
introduce yourself. Let the people know who you are.
All righty. For the people who had never seen me before, I'm kind of elusive online. I don't have an online presence for presenting anything, but my name is Mr. Ishmael. That's what I go by. That's my actual name. It's not a moniker. That's my actual name outside of using my first name. So, the little bit about me, a little bit of my biography is I'm 52 years old. I ain't ashamed to say how old I am. I've throughout my life, I've spent the majority of it, my adult life, that is, in the military and associated with the federal government. Now I'm not anymore. I spent 28 years in uniform and attained the highest enlisted rank, which is in the Army, which is Sergeant Major. That's E9. Retired from there in 2020, really, right when COVID kicked off. It was a very, very weird time to retire, but it just so happened that that's when I retired. And immediately after that, I went on and did government contracting for about 9 to 11 months as a program manager, and went immediately and did a sidestep and took a government services job, or what they call a GS job, as an inspector general. A job I did before previously in uniform, and I retired from that last September. But when COVID kicked off, a side piece to my career path was I always, ever since I was a child, I wanted to have business. I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I saw businesses in my family, whether they were small or even medium size. I saw my family members always doing business. So my family and I started some small businesses, and they're still going to this day. So they've been going about 5 years. Another one, another two, we got started off year before last and one last year. And we're looking to venture off and have more going. As many people know, you should have several streams of income. So that's another way. And I also, and I'll stop here, is in growing those businesses and starting them, I saw an opportunity to do the things that a lot of Black folks talk about. And a lot of our, I don't like to call people leaders, but people who are leaders in thought, even those from the past who talk about generational wealth and Black empowerment. And the best way that you start that, even the most honorable Elijah Muhammad says, you start that at home. And we start that at home, we, meaning my wife and I, with our children, and they're in the business. They work in the business with us. And the personal part about me is I've been married for this month. Later this month, it'll be 30 years. Only marriage, three young adults. I don't like to say children. They ain't no babies,
Yeah.
But 3 children, and I'm my uncle, and I'm my brother, I'm a son, and just an all around good brother that want to see us all win. That's what I want.
For sure, man. Nah, definitely, man. So when I hit you up and you told me to call you so we can talk about it. what was the first? What were you thinking about when I was talking about just conversations about? No matter what the subject is, we're going to be going towards the power angle of it. So just tell me your point of view of that, and then we'll get into the topic for tonight. I just wanted to get when I first contacted you was that maybe after we talked and you sit back and you know what I'm saying, just when that phrase or that conversation that we had yesterday kind of goes through your mind, what do you think about when you look at us as a people and power?
So first, I'm gonna say before I forget, I appreciate it and thank you for even acknowledging and seeing where my mind goes and how I look at in our community and the vision I have, not for just myself but for us, in the way that I speak and talk about us as a collective. And when I say us, I say Black people in general. Okay. However, I do focus on foundational Black Americans because that's who I am. That's who I am on both sides of my family. When you called, when we started conversing via text, I ain't gonna say I wasn't shocked, but I was like, oh wow, that was, I was honored. I was honored. And when you said conversations of power, I was like, yeah, honestly, I said, this brother must be reading my mind. I've been thinking about, I swear to you, I'm not making this up.
Yeah,
I've been thinking about doing something of this magnitude for the past, since YouTube been out. I just hadn't, I hadn't acted upon it. You know what I mean? And one aspect I thought, and I really was going to dive into it, was sports and dissecting how you need to look at sports from a different lens than just entertainment, especially how our Black athletes are treated and the way that not how they can spend their money on counting other person's pockets, but the positions that they're in. Okay. And when you said about general anything, I'm like, oh yeah, it couldn't be better to start and have these conversations with you, brother. And I'm like, because he understands. We've had conversations in the past.
Yes, we
talked about these types of things from a community basis.
Yeah.
And for us both to understand it, on a micro basis in our community where we live or where we're from, and then understand it on a macro global level, that'll get people in the audience to understand different ways to look at things and to empower ourselves, because that's really what it boils down to, is empowering yourself.
Yeah, no, definitely. And we definitely can talk about the sports, because I have as I told you, I'm building the Wealth is Gangster Network, and a show that I have it on paper. I came up with the idea maybe about a year or so ago, and it's called Sports and Finance, because I'm like, all we do, like you can go to YouTube and everybody got a show and they're breaking down the Sundays, all the stats and everything. Right. I said, let's do a show where all we talk about is what the concession stand make, what the players made per game, and the taxes that came out of it. Let's break it down from the finance part per game, what the stadium made, the people in the parking lot making. Like, we never looked at sports from that point of view. So when you said that, I was like, yeah, that's already a show I'm cooking up. So that's something we could talk about. But because that's all, and this is what I have to realize, brother.
Mm-hmm.
That we all got different lanes in this fight, right? So I kind of look at how a lot of us try to like talk at each other or try to say that you're doing better than the next or this and that. You're just doing what you're supposed to do in your lane. And and it's going to be some people, like, I feel like mine is power. Like, all I think about is becoming ultra wealthy so we can do powerful things. Mm-hmm. To somebody else, their fight, their part in this fight might just be like, hey, I'm gonna show up and volunteer. I'm gonna pass out. You know what I'm saying? And it don't make that person no smaller than me, but that I just understand that we all got our part of this. So when I start looking at it like that, I kind of like stop having judgmental about what somebody ain't doing. I'm always asking myself, okay, what are you doing? Even if that thought come to my head about somebody else, I need to look in the mirror and tell myself, what are you doing? Or if ain't nobody else doing nothing, okay, that's cool. What are you doing?
That's right.
And that's kind of just
self-accountability. Yes, sir.
Yeah, just self-accountability and stop the judging and pointing the fingers on. We all can do better. We all know that. You know what I'm saying? So of course we can all point to each other and say what you don't like, but that's pointless in this fight. Right. So all I want to do is, it's gonna be people that it's gonna be a segment that don't do nothing, and we got to realize that it's gonna be like 30-40% of our community don't care about what we talk about. Like, they just don't. You know, and some people always say I think it's a little bit more. I'd be trying to be, you know what I'm saying? I'd be trying to be conservative with the numbers because I want to believe that it's more. But I believe, and this is what I always say, even to my brothers that do like the relationships and the woman submissive, because we all got our different lanes and where our brain goes. So that's what we talk about. So it's brothers in that lane, and I'm like, as men, I look at everything as power, everything in a power way. So even when we talk about the relationships and this and that, I feel like as a man, if we're building, if we're doing what we're supposed to do, I don't need to go back and forth with a woman about what she need to follow me and do this. I'm just gonna lead just by my natural just living. I'm not gonna sit back and argue and go back and forth and tell you gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like, if you just lead by the way you live and embody that,
you're gonna draw them.
You're gonna draw it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna tell a woman to submit or tell a woman. I'm not gonna do all that. I'm just gonna live my life and my aura and what I stand for tells you what I want. And if it ain't right, it just ain't right, and we keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? Like, but the conversation, the arguing, the foot, I'm not doing none of that because I think about everything in power. That's powerless for me to have that engagement. Right. I embody what the standards are. Even when I'm with the kids, even when I'm with other good brothers like you, we understand. Okay, I understand how this brother rocky. You know what I'm saying? Like we get that feel because you get that off. You gonna get off what kind of person you are.
That energy.
And what I realized, especially coming from the street side of this, when I started becoming the person I am now, and I was telling my brother about this the other day. He was like, "Man, that's deep." I used to think that I was kind of like, a little antisocial, a little weird, because I just stopped being around people, right? Because I was trying to change my life, right? But I realized that it was a safety mechanism because people, if you're around me every day, the way I talk, you're going to have to be kind of like loco with me on this building and this, because a regular person, if you just want a bull job every day, you're not going to want to be around me every day because I'm just too serious about the way I conduct myself and move, we're going to have our fun and we're going to do that. But even that's going to be within, I'm not going to be out doing nothing with nobody we're not building with. We're not going to be at no parties. I'm not going to be at no bar. That's just me personally. I don't look at myself as having as friends. I tell people friends is dangerous because friends in the family, using those words sometimes give people leeway to do you wrong. I like business partners. Because a business partner like me and you going into business, to me that's like a brother. That's like a brother call, right?
That's correct.
But the difference is, instead of me saying that's my friend, that's my business partner. Now I'm accountable to you and you're accountable to me. Like I gotta be a certain standard, and you gotta, we know that like friends, you can kind of be wild and I'll be like, that's my homeboy anyway, though. You know what I'm saying? Right. Business partners, you're gonna be like, nah, you can't be doing that, bro. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of people, there's nothing wrong with having friends per se, but I'm just talking about the way we just throw these words around. They don't really have the standard, and we got to live on a standard.
So let me dive in on that piece, because that's a real important piece that you just said, and I'm gonna start at the end where you just ended off, because it's right on time. And what you said, what I took from what you were saying, is the way we use our words. And what I learned from the late great Mr. Neely Fuller is words are powerful. Okay, I live by some of those same tenets, and one of those tenets is, and I've done this since I was a young teenager. I learned early. Yeah. Okay, this friend thing, you ain't really my friend if you're gonna treat me like this, or or you're gonna be this way about me or that way about me. So I just started changing the language, and I said, you know what, you may use that, that's fine. But if we're close, which ain't that many folks outside of blood kin, then we're family. That's how I take that word serious. Like yourself, you say business partner, and that's fine. That's the way that you see that. That's the way that you build and attract power. And when people understand that about you, most people gonna go away from you. That's with all that type of stuff. Even when they see you. You see, you also mentioned the part about the ladies. It applies primarily to the ladies, because what we give off, and I say we give off, is a powerful masculine energy. And that masculine energy draw them in. That feminine part of them is going to come out. Okay. It's going to make them feel feminine. It's going to make them, quote unquote, submit. Without even saying it. And and they may be deep off into a relationship and they realize, oh my goodness, I'm everything that my girls talk about. I'm that submissive woman that I ain't want to be. but then they're in love, not even realizing it, and realizing it really that's a part of your nature, not just a woman's nature. See, that's something I learned in my life as well, in marriage and even in other types of relationships. Whether it's other males or family. And what I'm talking about is that submission piece. That submission piece is, it doesn't just mean the woman submits. You know what I'm saying? The men are submitting too. All right. There's a mutual submission. It's just on different levels. It's on different, you're in your own lane.
For sure.
You see what I'm saying? Whether that, and I don't get into the whole, fidelity type of deal.
Yeah.
That's a personal choice, because some people are in the being what you call it, having different people in their lives or whatever the case may be, and there's a different type of movement with that with some brothers now. Do what you feel. However, you're still going to have to submit if you have committed yourself to that woman, and that woman has committed herself to you. You submitting either way. When you say that's my man, that's my woman, that's my whatever, you're submitting. So people don't realize it, and what they're doing when they fight against that stuff. And you mentioned also the back and forth in relationships. Some people live for that. That gives them a sense of power.
Yeah.
Oh, I made him upset. Let me see. Let's go back and forth. That's Mr. Fuller would call non-constructive. I say destructive. That's destructive behavior. Yeah. You also and this is where I'll wrap a bow on it. You also said something extremely, extremely powerful about the time that you spend. Okay. I had been doing this a lot of my life and didn't even realize it until, and I'll keep referencing our great master teachers, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the Honorable Louis Farrakhan, Mr. Fuller, Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, Dr. Ben, the list goes on and on and on and on. Yeah. And Shahrazad Ali, because that's where I draw power from. My family, honestly, my family. And the one thing that you were talking about that I gleaned from all of that is very powerful is the time that you spend. Okay. You said you don't hit the bar, you don't do this, that's nothing wrong with that. You thought that you were weird. I thought I was weird as well. Okay. Now, granted, as a young man, yep, I would get on the basketball court, but I saw there was something constructive about doing it. I was exercising. All right. Oh, yeah. You know what I'm saying? And, or, if I spend time with my children and we go to a ball game or something like that, that's a precious memory. Okay. Those things are different.
That's different. Yeah.
Those things are different, but to just, kick it. Nah.
Especially with people that you're unproductive with in life. That's my biggest part. I'm not even so much tripping on the kicking part. We can figure out, we're gonna celebrate because we're gonna celebrate the wins that we're having and the things that we're accomplishing in the, you know what I'm saying? Like, so in every meetup, even if we're kicking it somewhere, every meetup gonna have some kind of serious kind of connotation or life or a gym, but because just that's the kind of people we are. So I give gyms on a vacation. That's just because that's just me. I'm not faking or acting like if I talk to you, if you meet me in the elevator before, if we start talking, I'm gonna bring up something about wealth, power, or building something like in like a minute conversation. That's just me naturally. Some people might bring up sports first or this and that's just I'm wired different, you know what I'm saying? But so I understand. That's why I said that right there protected me, because getting out the streets, like, people will just be around you. And I always say, man, I used to have like 50 people be like, I'll die for you, I kill for you. And I'm like, dang, I changed my life and we went the right way. And practically everybody disappeared, and not it disappeared because I'm still cool with everybody. But my biggest problem was like, I have conversations with a couple of my artists now because we haven't dropped nothing in years. My biggest thing is y'all thought rap was the only way. When I said realer than real records and this and that, I'm talking about a move. I'm talking about this is a life movement. Like I haven't dropped no music, but I haven't did nothing but open up thrift stores and food and barbecue sauces. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, rap was just a part of it. And then as I started doing that, I started realizing that, man, Why they only showed us 5 sports, music, getting the job? Like it's 1,000 other ways to make it. Like we've been hid. This world has been shielding this off to us. You know what I'm saying? And that's my job. I'm ringing the alarm. Like, hold on, I don't care if you want to do drawing. I don't care if you want to be on YouTube all day, man. You can make more money than your parents. That's why I be telling these kids, what you doing with your parent hate you doing playing video games. This kid's making $20,000-$30,000 a month playing video games.
Playing video games, the thing
you love. Something you love, now let's turn it into a business lesson, let's turn it into a life lesson, but let's not fight against what just naturally comes to that kid. You know what I'm saying?
Right, absolutely.
So that's why, let him. He's a gamer. Okay, we're gonna turn your gaming into a business. And we're going to talk about banking, and we're going to talk about investing, and we're going to talk about all this stuff while you play your video game all day. We're going to still make sure you financial literate and this and that. And then because I had one parent, she was like, "Oh, I hate that he play video games all day," but then I gave her that perspective, and she's like, "I never looked at it like that. I just used to fight it." And that's what I'm saying. Like, why are you fighting their talents? Our talents are different. Some kids might like to read all day. Let's figure out how to write books and do this and do that. You know what I'm saying? Because if they play football, if they play sports, we know how to we'll pour all our money into the kid that plays sports, but the one that want to do spelling bees and this and that, we don't really pay attention to it. Right. So that's all I'm saying. Give it the equal. Not saying one is better than the other. Just make sure it's equal. Just like you go to that football game, let's make sure we go to the spelling bees or the bookathon or the business association or whatever. You know. But we about 20 minutes into the big. Let's let you kick it off with the topic that you want to cover, some things that we want to cover. This is our introduction. We kicking it like we normally would if we was on the phone, but we're in the public now. So we gotta get familiar with this, and this gonna be a regular thing, man. So
I'll tell you what, we already did it. We're already into it. I knew how this was gonna go.
Yeah.
And I meant to tell you this yesterday. And I learned this from watching Brother Ben X. He said something very powerful, probably about 4 or 5 years ago. He didn't say it as a lesson when he was teaching. He said what he did, and I picked up on it, and I said, that is extremely powerful. What he did is when he would go do a lecture or even in private conversations, he would tell the person, of course, hey, I'm gonna record this. And he would extract information from that. He even started putting books together from that. I said, oh man, that's heavy.
Yeah.
Because if you're doing like what we're talking about and everything you just outlined, it's already there.
That's there.
And that's the same thing you was just talking about when you talk to different parents and stuff like that. Don't fight against what's already there unless you're talking about something destructive that's different. Okay. Yeah. It's like a baby and you start seeing them eating washing powder. No, don't eat the washing powder.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's different. But if they're into something and you really know your child and you see, okay, they really off into that thing, or that child likes to draw. Okay, well, let me see what I can get kicking off with this and kind of pour into them. You see what I'm saying? I'll tell you something my father always told my sister and I, it's only 2 of us. He said, I want you to be better than me. You see, and I live by that. I tell my children that as well. Be better than me. Now that's a tall task for my dad. I always say, man, that's a tall task because of the respect I have, and also for what he is as far historically. Okay, and I'll say it now, especially on this inaugural cast, and one day we could probably have him on here and talk, have these conversations. He is the very first Black flight paramedic in the United States, the first, and he's still living. He just turned 72, 73 a couple months ago. So yes,
that's that's big, man. Salute.
Yeah,
we appreciate that. He ever want to come on? He pull up whenever he want to.
For sure. Yeah. Having that type of perspective as a child and hearing that not just from him, and hearing different things from my mother, my grandparents, and even seeing how my other family members moved in life. Everybody doesn't necessarily have to have this, glorious title, saying, I was the one to do this or do. No. Grab what's right there in front of you, because there's a ton of wisdom. The things that you just said, okay, like you were saying, hey, we kicking it off. We already did. The minute you said hey, go ahead and start talking, we already leaned into
Yeah.
the two topics I wanted us to touch on
Yeah.
is what is power and what is Black empowerment. Okay, we're already discussing it right now.
Yeah.
All right? We're discussing what is power, all right, and what is Black empowerment. All right, Black empowerment, and I'll bring more clarity to that, is how we come together, and I'm gonna define together in a moment here, because that's an old cliche I used to get caught up in.
Yeah, I got you. I got you.
We used to be, hey, let's all come together. It ain't that type of thing. I'm not saying.
For so.
All right, this is more tongue in cheek, just in the saying itself.
Yeah.
The way that we build, okay, together in a sense, all right, to fight against this oppressive system. And it doesn't necessarily mean physically fighting. If it ever has to come down to it, of course, we're going to do that naturally. But to do that every single day with everything that we do, the things that we buy, the people we associate with, our mindset, all right, that empowerment starts first internally with inside yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not going to get super deep on the philosophy end of that, on how people need to get their mind right and all that type of stuff. But if that's the first part, you got to make that decision. When you make that internal decision and say, well, I want to do this, I want to be more powerful, I want to unite with my people, I want to, see us win, you got to be the winner.
Yeah.
You got to start off and say, I'm that. And I'm big on verbalizing things and saying them orally, even if you're in a room or a closet by yourself, or people do prayer or whatever they call, or meditate, whatever. When you say those things, you're telling the universe, and the universe going to give it back to you. They're going to give you what you asked for, so you got to be careful what you're putting out there in the universe. Exactly. Again, I ain't getting super philosophical and deep, but
just reality of life. It's just how life works. Yeah.
For us to link up and do better building, all right, you have to first, I know I kind of like the term the phrase like-minded to a degree, all right, and this is going to lead back to that whole together thing. It doesn't necessarily have to be someone of a like mind, which is why I'm so thankful that you thought of me, because you have a train of thought, I have a train of thought. It don't have to be the same. All right, is our end goal the same? Are we honest with each other? That's a part of that a lot of folks don't talk about. And I'm gonna highlight this. Us as foundational Black Americans, we're finding out the hard way about even how the phrase foundational Black Americans came to be. You see, we've had to have internal tough conversations within our ethnic group, all right, and with ourselves to say, wait a minute now, for these however many years, since the 80s or 70s, we've been calling ourselves African American, and we've been our arms are spread wide for everyone across the world that's melanated. Not just Africans, Caribbeans. We would look at Mexicans, Hispanics, and anybody that was melanated as our brother and sister. But we had to learn, and we learned the hard way, to say, okay, I don't have no beef with you. We got some internal house cleaning to do. And in that house cleaning, we're saying some of your folks from your ethnic group, even from your race, have been sent here, or even if they're across seas, all right, they're here, they're there to tear us down, specifically us, to undermine us. Thank you for that, to undermine us. So that's what I mean when I say that coming together, you don't have to come in unity or be in uniform. It's that mindset. What are we doing? And that honesty piece. That's where the dishonesty comes in when we see, and I'll use some names of people that are in prominent positions because they can affect policy. A Byron Donald out of Florida. That's one person. Okay. And all the focus was on presidential candidate Kamala Harris and the former president Barack Obama. When they look like us, we do have an expectation. When we cast that vote and we ask them, and then some of them even say, hey, we're going to do this for you. And nothing happens specifically for us. That's what I mean when I say that coming together. It can be behind the scenes. And this one point that I was thinking of earlier, because it may seem a little off key, but it's just how I'm wired a little bit.
Yeah.
You mentioned something before on different ways to get to your end state, whether it's a personal end state, a business end state, or as a collective.
Yeah.
I saw it was a scene off of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Never forget it. And it was a scene where they were harboring that fugitive lady that was a fugitive. She was like almost like an Asada Shakur type.
Yeah. I know.
And she had kind of jumped bad with Uncle Phil. And I remember this specifically. I was like, wow, she kind of snapped on him and saying, oh, you ain't down for the struggle no more. Yeah. And his comeback was powerful. It meant a lot to me. He said, don't you dare raise your voice to me. I'll do my part and I'll write a fact check towards the movement. I said, that's what I'm talking about there. That brother is in a powerful position, even though it's fictional character as a judge.
Yeah, just the thought.
But the thought.
That mindset, and that's the mindset we need. Because we try to put everybody in the same, and that's what we talked about. Everybody got their different roles, you know what I'm saying? And we have to respect that instead of being like, oh, my role bigger than yours, or you smaller than. No, we need every single one of those roles. And to demean somebody because they a different type of person, or they like to do this or do whatever you do, all I just do is make sure it's not destructive to the community and it's productive to your life, and do it in safe environments, like you like to drink and stuff like that. I'm not a drinker, so I'm not gonna promote drinking, but it's some of our people drink, and it's a lot of good brothers that I know really fight for the struggle in the drink. It's just like it's brothers that fight and they smoke cigarettes, but like I tell them, that's part of the enslavement. We got to be able to get off some of these things, but I don't want to be over preachy at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Because we all got our vices. You know what I'm saying? Like, we all, whatever it is, even if it ain't nothing destructive, you still got something that you really don't need, but you just want to, it's part of your life. It's you. It's whatever it is. I feel like it's more productive to just like, let's build on what we do agree on instead of going back and forth on what we don't agree on. But that's what power does, because when you think all these powerful people, that these families that run this world or this country, think they all love each other, they probably half of them can't stand each other. But they understand power. I don't mess with you, but let's sit down and iron this out, get this deal on the table, and keep it moving.
Yes, sir.
We got to understand in power, it's gonna be some people that we got to deal with that we might not mess with. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I manage relationships. Even somebody I'm like, okay, I wouldn't rock with you like personally in my circle or my day-to-day, but I understand that you got something within you that's still beneficial for the community. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like me personally, I won't rock with you, but you still are asset to the community in whatever way you are asset to the community. I can still deal with you. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just cutting you out because I personally don't like you.
Or you did me wrong.
Yeah, that too. And that's just part of us understanding that we're at war, understanding from the delineating from the white supremacist system to all the different things. I always tell people, man, we at war from the time we wake up. The time, if you wake up and brush your teeth with fluoride toothpaste, they're already attacking. They're already attacking you. They're attacking you from the time you wake up, brother. You know what I'm saying? I haven't used that in 5 years. I haven't used nothing but natural deodorant in the last 5 years. I'm trying to fight this war on every level. Every level. I'm talking about from the time you wake up and you put that toothpaste on your toothbrush. If it got fluoride in it, they already starting off getting you for the day.
Yes, sir. You see
what I'm saying?
That is extremely powerful, and I'm so glad you put those things together, because again, it goes back. This is why I knew our conversations, we don't necessarily have to have a specific set of topics.
Yeah, because it's going to naturally
build. That natural build is going to come out with the things that we discuss. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? I have a couple of notes here and there to go back to, but that's extremely powerful to say that. To say, I am fighting against the system every day of my life, every second of my life, because it is against us. Okay. That is extremely powerful, and brothers and sisters need to see that. The children need to see and understand that. Yeah. These are very, very powerful things to say, and once they can just peel back a little bit at a time, however people learn differently.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
And when you a very important piece that you bring all the time is you get the person where they are. You don't sit there and say, okay, you have something. Man. I don't like a person with locks. It really just irritates me, or whatever the case may be. I'm just giving an example.
Yeah.
Brother, you know how to paint. Man, I need you to come paint this house, come paint this place, or whatever. I need to use you because I'm empowering the community. Whatever you do with that fund, those funds is on you, but it's still going to circulate within our community, most likely.
Most likely, yeah.
When you push that, people are going to feel that. You don't even have to say it. They're gonna say, "Oh yeah, that's that brother right there. Oh, that sister right there. Oh man, I know what they off into." You're gonna realize it. I was just saying something the other day. Maybe it was you and I. It was you and I when we were discussing about the way we came up. And I didn't come up in the streets. I'll tell anybody that. I came up around them. Right? I knew everybody, a lot of people in my neighborhood that I still know to this day that was deep off in the streets.
Yeah.
But I didn't do that. Okay. And if I ever came close to being around that, those good brothers, and these were brothers, hey man, don't come over here. Go and do this, that, and the third, or stay on this path or that path.
That's the real OGs. That's what real OGs do.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And I also liken that to my father, okay, because he never disassociated himself from anyone, regardless of how people saw him in the community.
Yeah.
He never thought he was better than anyone, ever. And that is powerful. You have just as strong of a conversation with someone at the gas station that may be pumping gas when people used to pump gas, right, than you would have with a colleague at work. You don't look down upon someone because of a perceived position that you've ever been in or the way people see you. Yeah. That was always important. Muhammad Ali also talked about that. The way he would look at people, he said, the way that you treat the doorman or the garbage man, then that means you may treat me that way someday. You know what I'm saying? So when you mention that about the way, especially the way that the parents see their children and the way that we deal with each other in the community, those things are very important. You don't have to come off in preachy. I was bad with that. I'll be the first to tell you. I used to be really bad.
We all getting better. We all learning, trying to figure out this thing.
Yeah.
If you really want to win, you're evolving and learning, and that strategy don't work. And that's why a lot of people was shocked when we went to the political side of it, because I'm 43 years old. Since I was 18, I voted number Democrat. All my life. I ain't even thinking that, right. If you was a Republican, you was a coon, you were this and that,
right.
I'm talking about just naturally, you know what I'm saying?
Like,
I got they wanted me to run to be a level Democrat here in Temple because I had registered over 400 people for Obama, and Obama came to San Marcos. I was there the night he won. I cried. So people know me as that person, right? And now I'm like, okay, now I'm voting for Trump because of this, and this, because I'm in the community. I tried to open up a school. I went into the red six figures of my own money trying to open up a school for my people. I'm really in it. Y'all just sit on the sideline talking about how you feel, and you know what I'm saying. You ain't trying to build nothing. You don't care about nothing. You just talking. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm out here investing. I'm out here can't sleep at night. I'm out here really so. When you start looking at that, and I start realizing we losing with this strategy. Not even saying that this is the better, the perfect strategy. I just understand that this is a straight up losing strategy, and I feel like I betrayed my community because I voted for every election since 18 without even hesitating, without even questioning it, you know what I'm saying? Never. And now I'm to the point where we should be 50-50. Whoever got something on the table, and I know it's a lot of foundational Black Americans that said I ain't vote for neither one. But to me, the win is legal immigration, the crypto play, the stock play, So me, I was more strategic with it. And some people might say, well, you shouldn't think like that. We more moral people, but moral, that's why we at the bottom. That's why we ain't got nothing, because we dealing with wolves. We sheep asking a wolf to take care of us better, instead of understanding that, okay, maybe you a sheep, but you need some wolves from the community to go holler at these wolves. And let me be a wolf without you. I came up with the term wealth shaming me. You know what I'm saying? Because I speak about power. Just like you fat shame and this and that. You're not going to wealth shame me because I want to be on this standard. I want to be in the room with billionaires because I want to live a certain way. You're not going to say, just because I don't want to be loose and do nothing and blow my money and I don't want to do dumb stuff that, I'm the Arthur of the streets lied to us. So the way that you perceive we should be living, No, that's a lie. That's dumb to me. Just like you might feel like me trying to raise up and be in this level is dumb to you, but let's not go back and forth. Let me be me, and I'm gonna let you be you. You know, to me that makes sense instead of going back and forth, because there's no power in going back and forth with another powerless black person. Like if me and a certain person don't get along, what power do I get out of beefing with you on Facebook every day? Like we two powerless people that just don't like each other. That's it. We should be over there working on our insurance plan. We should be working on our business plan. We should be working on ideas. We should be over there working on 100-year plan, and we over here beefing on Facebook. And if we had a heart attack while we arguing, you know, some families might be a little bit better, but most of our community families would be selling fish plates.
Go fund me. Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? So like I don't really like and it's weird because people say I'm so serious that they don't think I have fun. Like this is actually fun to me though. This is what's fun. I wake up every day trying to build a system and attack a system and then strategize a system and invest here for 20 years, invest here for 5 years. I need to invest this for next month. You know, like I wake up every day, program, strategizing and figuring it out, and I'm having the time of my life. You know what I'm saying?
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. You said something a moment ago about the current president, and you chose to vote for him. Then there were others that chose to sit it out. So that's where we are slightly different. I never even thought about. Now we're the same in the way we came up. I was straight Democrat. And I ain't voted in every election, but almost since I was 18. Even in the military, you know, we would get absentee ballots. I would make sure I got an absentee ballot from the state of Florida, which is where I'm from. I'm from Pensacola, Florida. I forgot to mention that. And I would look and see who the Democrat was. And a few years prior to me having certain epiphanies, I said, well, let me see what these other people are talking about. I would literally spend hours looking up their policy and how it affected us. And I would just vote for this nondescript person. I don't remember half the people I voted for. But if it sounded like it was something that was going to be slightly empowering, because that's all it would be really, then I would go for them. Until, along with a large majority of the grassroots, I said, you know what, I'm going to sit these out. And it was really before that, quite honestly. I'll tell you, you know, briefly, when the real epiphany hit me about voting. It was... Well, when did President Obama make his second? Was it 2008?
The second time? 12?
Right. 12. There we go. 2012. That was a pivotal year. That was a pivotal year. Trayvon Martin was murdered. A lot of stuff happened in 2012. I remember after I casted my vote, I was home. I was still in the military, of course. And I was having a discussion with a family member, and I got very upset with myself. I mean, I don't yell much. Even though I was in the military, people think that you're always yelling. No, I wouldn't. I'm reserved for the most part, but I was angry. My skin was boiling because I said to myself, oh my goodness, we've been fooled all this time. And I wasn't putting it primarily on President Barack Obama. I was talking about how the system fooled us into believing in this melanated black man was going to do so much for us. And it was right after he got elected. It hit me like a ton of bricks. It was an emotional moment. I wasn't crying or nothing, but it was, man, all kinds of weird emotions came up. And I said, oh, wow. I couldn't believe it. I said, oh, man, I'm so dumb. And that's when things started changing for me. However, when 45 became 45 and now he's 47, I started seeing things slightly different. Not to say that I would vote for the gentleman, but I said, okay, if you bring something to the table that's definitely going to affect us, I'll put your hat on and vote for you. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I'll even campaign for you. But those like yourself who looked at it from a different standpoint and saying, okay, I see a benefit for us from this. I don't see nothing wrong with that. Yeah. What I see as non-constructive and destructive, and I know this might rub some people the wrong way, is to go to the other side that has been lying to us for over 60 years, and that's the Democratic Party. Okay? It is nothing against the good-natured people that are there, all right, that are voters, and the very few that are candidates. And I say that, you know, with all sincerity, because I have a very good brother that is a Democratic, he's not a candidate, he's an official in the state of Mississippi. He is an awesome brother, and he's actually doing the work that we talk about.
And that's all we need. That's what we need.
That's
Yeah,
what
we need to raise up that next bunch. Yeah, because I mean, I vote Democrat. We get the right ones. I don't care about. I don't care about either party. It's all strategic to me, and that's the part I want our people to be. Like I don't. I'm not no Trumper. You ain't gonna see me with no Trump hat or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? But strategically, all these dollars is coming out of our food. I know food kills us. We talk about gun violence and black on black crime and all this stuff that we program to talk about. We're gonna have a conversation about that. Why we don't talk about the food that we feed our kids? Why we don't talk about like that's killing more. More of us die from what we eat than gun violence. You know what I'm saying? So I haven't seen, and I brought this up to a few lady business friends the last month because they heavily Democrat. I'm like, I haven't seen one black mother, all these black moms that I know, I haven't seen one post that, forget Trump, I haven't seen one post that they're thankful that these dyes coming out the food, that this oil is changing. Like, you know what I'm saying? We got to get out the personal. You telling me that this is not killing our kids? All this cereal with the dyes, that's something that's changing right now. I don't care how you feel about that person. That's a win for black people.
Huge win. That's right.
It's not even up for debate. Remember we talked about that the other night. Some things you just can't debate. I don't care how you feel about it personal.
Let it go.
Some things you just can't debate. You know what I'm saying? You can hate that man because the food, that dye and stuff coming out of food is beneficial for us. That's specifically, right. Even though he didn't do it specifically for us.
Correct.
Specifically, more of us die of stuff like that. So we're gonna win from that.
We are.
That's not, so just stuff, once again, and the reason I can see it like that, because I'm only looking from a power point of view. Our health is part of our power. We need to stop eating so much processed food and dye food. And that's part of us winning this war. We can't just win this war on this level. And see, that's why a lot of us don't really want to fight this fight, because it's not just one fight. It's how you eat. It's how you exercise. It's how you brush your teeth. It's the deodorant you putting on. Are you putting the chemicals deodorant up under your armpit? Like, like the grease that you put in your, like this. And see, a lot of people, that's just too much. It's too much. And you just like, we all got, what's the phrase you're going to hear? We all got to die anyway.
That's correct. Anyway. Well, my mama did it this way. My grandmama did it this way. It gets very personal when we talk about the things that we put into our mouths, or the way that we care for ourselves, because the nurturing families that we come from, and they did with less. They made the best out of less, out of the lesser things in life, and they flourished off of it. And I fell for that for a while. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm like,
no, we all did. We were
they did make it like that. So how did they make it? Until, I ain't gonna say it just came to me, but building with other brothers like yourself and just kind of going over this stuff through the years, what I come to find out is, one, as you just mentioned, to go right back to what you just said, the things weren't processed. Whether it was a hog, whatever, they got it from their yard.
Backyard. I always say that.
A neighbor or someone everybody knew in the community.
Yeah.
Good with watermelons or whatever. Okay. Nothing was processed.
Nothing came from
China. Right from the ground where they live.
Right there.
So yes, they could eat all of those things, and their body would fight against them differently.
And them people still live to be 80, 90, 100 years old. Wasn't no cancer, wasn't all that stuff back then, because all that stuff that they say bad now came out the backyard back then.
That's right.
Now it's out the store. They got to shoot them animals up, and they got to do this and they got to do that. Right. So, but once again, so how do we do that? That's why I got the chicken for him, the beef for him. That's why I got my good brother in Dallas that I get my Cornish hens from.
Okay.
And this is what I'm saying. So we know this stuff, but what are we really doing about it? Or what are we even attempting to do about it? Because we can't all change the world in one day. No. But we can start building, like all the stuff I've been doing this years coming together. It's still formatting. You know what I'm saying? Like all the stuff you see me doing, this is years in the making, because I was programmed the wrong way. I was programmed the worst way, because I was programmed like we was all programmed, but I was programmed from a dysfunctional street point of view. So I was even more lost. You know what I'm saying? It's one thing to be programmed and you come from like a mom and dad household and this and that. You still programmed because you're still in America and you still up under the thumb. So you still programmed, but you're not programmed with so much dysfunctional and so much like just the blind leading the blind, literally. You know what I'm saying?
There's different levels to that.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you put it in perspective like that. and I'll not necessarily counter your argument, but show you the other side of that as well.
Sure.
There are several, and when I tell you several, Black folks that come from a structured family that don't have as much what we like to call common sense as those from the street, or those that come from what we look at as dysfunction, because there are different types of dysfunction, different levels of dysfunction.
Yeah.
So if I understand what you're saying when you're saying I come from a greater sense of dysfunction coming from that side of it, that I agree with you. But there are others that come from families, and not in the entire family, but whatever environment they come out of, that environment could have been in a household with a father that's alcoholic, okay, or some of the very small underbellies of our community. Small. I don't like to focus on that. However, the discussion we're having is leading to that, to say, all that ain't necessarily bad. You know what I'm saying? It's all a fight against the confinement that we're in, because we're in, we're behind, quote unquote, enemy lines. A lot of folks don't like to have that reality check, because they look, man, ain't nobody, oppressing me. Ain't nothing, no white people superior over me, this white supremacy stuff. No, they got that, they have their mind is still wrapped up into a lot of his ego.
Yeah, that's all it is. And they just personalizing it and just emotional, because that same person got to go get a job, or hoping they get one. The same person, or waiting on a check, or waiting on, like not even degrading. I mean, just the reality. You know what I'm saying? Like that same person that say that will still be. And I brought this up in the conversations months back, and I'm like, I used to wonder why more of us don't fight against the system. And I'm like, even if the police kill a son or a daughter or whatever, and you might march and pray and cry and all that, within the next week or so, you're gonna have to pull yourself together and go back to work, or you're gonna have to, or you're gonna pull yourself together and wait on that check to hit your account, from the government. So even the people that you hate and can't stand and you feel like killing us, you depend on them to survive. So how much can you really go against that system that you still need? Like, you can hate it, you can cuss them out, you can march, you can do all that stuff, but hey, my check needs to still hit on the first or the third, or, you know what I'm saying? And that's just the trap that we in as people. So
unless we do what we're doing right now, and that's building on these conversations of power.
Yeah.
That is the way that you, quote unquote, extract yourself from the matrix. Okay, even if you're somewhat semi-dependent, we're all dependent to it.
We're all dependent on it. It's about how dependent are you?
How much
do you wake up every day to make sure that you're less dependent than you were the day before? That's my only mission. Every day, am I less dependent on this system? I still need the system because I got a cooking service. So what do? I go to the stores. You know what I'm saying? But me doing business with the system is benefiting me in my fight and my struggle. That's how I look at it. But I don't spend money. People are like, oh, you boycott. My life is a boycott, so I'm not gonna boycott because the CEO said the N-word and they found out in the email. I don't need to boycott him because of that. I knew he was racist before I even met him, because the system is not meaning everybody is, but overall the system is. Correct. And to keep the system going, the people at the top gonna have to hate my kind a little bit. That's just the way the system is set up.
My life is a boycott.
They might personally say I got a friend or two, but system-wise, they can't let us win too much. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, my life
if they want that position. If they don't want that position, then they'll get fired or whatever. They try to do too much.
Absolutely.
And we just got to understand that until we in powerful positions, be not even say cool with it, but just understand our position.
Know where we are. I use the word
no ego in it at all. No ego, just know where we are.
Separate yourself from that. And I use the word confinement again, hearkening back to some of our master teachers. And when our master teachers taught us about the levels of confinement to a degree, they didn't put it in books, but put it in words. If you are locked up, and you or I have never been locked up, we get locked up, whether it's in jail, the county, or you go into prison. That's greater confinement, because we're all confined to a degree in this system.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And when we're talking about this system, one thing I wanted to make sure we touched on before we jumped off was the current state that we're in right now with this government shutdown. And how do we gain power from that? What do we look upon And how do we say, oh man, the government shut down? How can I gain any type of power from that? I'm gonna start off this way, and then I'm gonna leave them. I'm gonna pass it off to you. I'll explain from sitting in two different positions as a federal worker, one, and as a soldier, two, how this affected me personally and how I didn't understand ways to gain power from it. The first position, and I was really in a helpless position, was as a soldier. You're going to do what you're told no matter what your rank is, because you're not in the most senior position. And even if you're in one of those senior positions, you still have superiors that you answer to. Okay. So you're kind of helpless to a degree. You're told, hey, don't come in, or if you're coming in, you're still not getting paid until that next paycheck rolls around. And that happened, I want to say 3 or 4 times in my 28-year career. And it started happening more after President Obama came in. Happened with him, happened with President Trump, and now it's happening again. Those 2 times, it was 2 times as a soldier, 1 time as a civilian. That 1 time as a federal civilian, we were told to come in and you sign a document that's stating you're on furlough, unless you're in one of those, what they call critical positions, that they already outlined once you took your job, and they tell you that in your statement of work. It says, hey, you're in a critical position, regardless of what happens, then you're going to come in and you'll eventually get paid later. So that part about it, a lot of people don't know. So I wanted to give that inside information. Those folks in the TSA or that work for these different government organizations, their money is protected. When the government, quote unquote, turns it back on, they're going to get that money back. All right. Now, we haven't hit, the last time we hit a government shutdown, 2018, I believe it was, President Trump was in office, and we went 37 days. Okay. That's a long time. Yeah. Because your money,
you getting 2 checks now.
Yeah. For people to do the twice a month thing, me myself, when I served, I always did once a month for budgeting purposes. But when you living, quote unquote, living paycheck to paycheck, and that we're gonna definitely talk about money. We're gonna talk finances here, all right, on this channel. That is detrimental to everything that you got going on. How do we gain power from that? I'm gonna kick this off to you by saying one of the ways that we gain, and we talked about this before with your other co-hosts. Well, I did in the chat, and then I don't think I came on with y'all. Maybe I did. Is through the stock market. And a lot of folks are like, the stock market, if I'm broke, I ain't got no money, how do I gain something from the stock market? This is the one word I'm gonna say, and I'm gonna pass it off to you, brother. Fractional sharing. Fractional sharing. When that came out, it was after 2010 for sure, because I don't remember it before then. And I learned about it from Bitcoin. When Bitcoin had a real high run back in 2015 time frame, something like that. And I heard about you could buy a piece of it. I was like, you could do what? You don't have to buy the whole thing? And then it was like, now you can do it with stocks. You don't have to buy the entire stock for $700-800. You could buy a piece of it for however much you got. So there's no reason why anyone, I don't care what type of employment you have, the money that you separate with some discipline can get you in the game, and you know when to get in the game.
Yeah, no, that's real. We almost at an hour, so I don't want to hold you too long. I told you I keep you at an hour.
You're good.
But that's it. I got into the stock market because I think of power. That's I have been hearing about it, and I played with it, and I missed my time. I missed 2 chances to be a multi-millionaire on Bitcoin. In 2011, I was in Atlanta, and my partner told me to put $100 into Bitcoin. 2011, that would have made me about $10 million if I did.
Man.
I said, man, I don't know nothing about no Bitcoin. This and that. Just when you don't know, you don't know.
Right.
So 2011, I missed my chance at being a multi-millionaire, and then 2017, 18, I got back to playing with it.
Yeah,
but what I would do is buy some, and then when it shoot up, I would sell it. I didn't know what I was doing. I'm thinking I'm trying to hit a quick lick, because I'm from the street, so I'm thinking I'm hitting a quick lick. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't understand the long term on how to build on that and store it, and you know what I'm saying. And that's the thing. I was like, oh man, all the money I touched. If somebody would have just told me about buying shares and storing it and sitting on it for 20 years. You know how many millions I would have right now, you know? So I got heavy into it in 2020, really serious since 2022, about 2022 or so. But what happened was, I'm a serial entrepreneur. I got a bunch of different hustles. I feel like my money can't be stopped, right?
Right.
COVID showed me that no matter how many businesses you got, this and that, the government can still shut you down. So from a protection standpoint of trying to build a nation, I was like, how do I make money if the government ever decide to shut me down, or people don't like me, or people want to boycott me because I said something they don't like? And then that's when I like, you know what? I got to get serious about these stocks because the stock market, they don't care what color you are.
Right.
Everybody in the world can boycott me tomorrow, and it won't stop me because I learned the game on stocks now. Like, you know what I'm saying? If everybody in the world woke up tomorrow and said they hate Tony, I would still be living good because I learned how to invest. That's you know, and so it's a once again, power. All I think about is how do I put myself in a powerful position when my stores are shut down and I can't open up. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I want to lose power because the government says my store can't open. You know, so I'm like, stock market. So that's what I'm saying. Everything I do, how I look at everything is in the context of power. Like, I'm not involved with nothing that's powerless. I'm just not. And you can call me, you know, a boring person. You can say I'm too serious. You know, like, even if we go hang out and kick it, we're gonna do something that makes me more powerful. You know, maybe if we go to the top golf, I'm gonna become a better golfer, us kicking it, and then I'm gonna have a golf tournament with my nonprofit next year. So I'm practicing. You know, like, I think about, I don't care what we doing, I'm gonna extract power out of that some kind of way. That's just I'm not wired any kind of way. Other
Are you going to elevate from whatever you're doing?
Whatever.
That to me, and you mentioned it earlier, and it just so happened that we have that same, you know, feeling towards that's fun. That to me is fun when I see someone, a light spark, whether it's a word I say or something they see, or they say, I didn't know that. Like you said, when you were talking to the young lady about her son, she's like, I didn't see it that way. That is fun. It's not that, you know, you're this great Buddha and you're teaching someone. No, I'm all knowing. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Okay. Because I'm full of mistakes. I'm gonna make plenty more. However, what am I going to do about those mistakes? Am I learning from them? Am I going to say I ain't gonna step that way again? Or I'm going to look at that and bring it forward to say, okay, I got it. I'm going to embrace it. It's all up in here. I got it. All right. Now, what am I going to do with it? What am I going to do with all of that? How am I going to make that empower me? These things are very important, brother. And, you know, I'm on as long as you want to be. You know, I know we said an hour. If you got
we go get wrapped up because we're gonna give them this every Tuesday, every Tuesday at 7, you know. And like I say, I don't care if we talk about the sports, whatever conversation you hear, we're gonna always full circle it back to the power aspect of whatever the conversation is. Because there's power in everything. I don't care if you're talking about the world news, I don't care if you're talking about this, I don't care if you're talking about that. You know what I'm saying? We got to figure out and think and operate. And this is what I try to get my kids to do. Just think if you raise the standards on the way you operate and the way you deal with everybody, everything around you automatically change. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's people that when I know how they really are, but when they're around me, they be a certain way. And I used to think it was funny, but I take it as respect now because they know, like, you know what I'm saying? I really be bull jobbing and this and that, but around here, I'm going to be more serious. I'm going to respect. That's respect, though. I love it. You know what I'm saying?
The backside gets straight.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because that's what I have done myself. I used to be the person that did the same thing they doing. But I want to command that and you got to walk in that. Like, every day you got to walk in there. You can't part-time. I always tell people you can't fake what I've been doing. Like, I got pictures that show me doing youth stuff in 2020. It's 25 years later. Like, you know what I'm saying? I left my mom's house at 12. I got my first apartment at 14. Like, I got a wild story to be full circle here, even talking about what we talking about. You know what I'm saying? Like, to even have powerful conversations. But then when I look back, I've been on a powerful journey since 12. Like, I actually, when I left my mom's house, and one of our conversations was, if you want to be grown, you got to get your own place. And I didn't even disrespect. I was like, that's right. I just need to go get my own place. Like it was that simple, you know. And now that I look back on, I was driving and I had my first apartment at 14, and I be mentoring kids. I'm like, man, I don't know how I was doing that at 13, 14. Like I always, but people always tell me like, it's people that can tell you they've been watching me do what I'm doing now in different phases and different versions, of course. You know what I'm saying? But I've been on this journey for 30 years of power. I'm going against the grain of like my mom raising me to be an upstander dude. I never was like, I ain't finna break in your house. I ain't finna rob you. Like I wasn't that guy. I was just a guy that wanted to get some money and find a little female and chill. Like I've been that person since 12 years old. Like literally, I'm not going to clubs. I'm not getting drunk. I'm not doing nothing crazy. You know, I've been the same person. And there's people that'll tell you, like, I literally, like, they was calling me grandpa at 14 because I always been operating on a certain standard. And this is what I want my kids to know, that I hate when people say you got time, you young. As a black boy, you can make one mistake at 15 and it'll be a blessing if you can correct it by 30. I seen people make mistakes in their teenage years that they still fighting through on parole or whatever in their 30s and 40s. Like that's your life. Your life is gone. That one mistake.
That's right. That's how the system is against us. That's how we fight.
We gotta be serious about our life. Like I want these kids to be serious. You can have fun and you can go to the football games and you can talk to that little girl. Yeah, that's cute. But be serious about how you conduct yourself, because one thing can mess it up. I don't baby these kids. That's why I don't say kids. I say youth league. I call them all youth because you'll be an adult in 5 years. You'll be an adult in 3, 6, 7 years. I look at you as a young adult. So conduct yourself a certain way and be proud and stand on who you are, because I need you to mold you into being that right adult, not just telling you to be that right adult at 18. No, we gotta mold you, and that's what our community lost. We're not molding these kids to be what we want. We just letting them be whatever because now we want to be friends with the kids.
Correct. That powerful statement that you said a moment ago leads me again back to some of our master teachers, and they taught us about the system that we live in. Those simple little childish mistakes should not hinder you for the rest of your life, because they don't hinder those in a dominant society for the rest of their lives.
Exactly.
They're looked at as boys being boys, okay, or girls having fun. But we do simple things, or even if, and I've been in some of these positions. This is why I say I was adjacent to those brothers out there. I could have just got caught up being with somebody doing something, that's quote unquote against the law.
Yeah.
And my life could have been over easily.
There's a lot of people like that, just in the crossfire and sitting in prison right now. Yeah, for sure.
That tells you the system that we're in is a system of injustice.
Yeah.
When some, because of their skin color and the things that even if they have the skin color that look like us, they make themselves adjacent to that. They pony up to it and be lapdogs to it. You know what I mean? When that happens, and then those of us, even children that are oblivious to that, we're living in a system of non-justice, and we need to replace that system with a system of justice. And that's what you do every day. Just like you said, you get up, you brush your teeth, you put on the right deodorant, you do. And I say the right that's going to be more productive for your body, not just the right because, it may come from a company that supports the KKK, but they got the deodorant that's right for you.
It's good for my body, it's good for my spirit, and it comes from a black man. You know what I'm saying?
You may never know that. But me, myself, personally, I make sure I get something from someone that has a brand, that is good. It comes directly from black folks.
Yeah.
As much as possible. It's a hard thing. And to wrap up, a few years back, Killer Mike the rapper Killer Mike did a show. I forget what it was called. It didn't last long.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, on Netflix or something. I've seen a couple of episodes. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
But he tried to live a day in living and buying everything around him from black-owned businesses.
Yeah.
It was powerful stuff because it was hard for him to even get around and live like that. Okay, I don't know if you know how powerful that is, even though it was short-lived. Things like that, if people just peel back for a minute and say, wait a minute, well, why don't I just go and start doing this? I don't have to just do what everyone is doing. And you may learn to love it.
Yeah, find your lane.
Find your lane. We got people in bottled water now. I just found out yesterday there's a company in Alabama It says the only black-owned bottled water company that gets directly from the source. Is called. Hold on a second. I know we
I'm
do
gonna say
stuff.
I know some black, water company, but I don't know from the source. I don't know all
Yeah,
those
this
technicals.
one I found out. Hold on one second.
I know
We
I
doing
know a
stuff
few of them.
live here. It's called Blue Spring. Yep, bluespringlivingwater.com, and it's out of Alabama. And when we talk about buying from our people, the one thing we also have to understand in understanding power, yes, we're going to have to pay a little more.
Have to. And,
We
and
have to
take
pay a
pride
little
in it.
more.
Take pride in it. Take pride in it.
Take pride in paying a little more.
Yeah.
I plan on getting some water from these folks, maybe on a consistent basis, because it's a little pricey, but it's worth it. Yeah. Okay, this is natural stuff. And there's a company, I ain't gonna show the company logo because they ain't giving us no money, is right here out of Georgia. Okay. And if anybody's in Georgia, they'll know what this bottle is. This is some of the best tasting water I've ever had in my life because it comes directly from the source. And that's how you empower yourself, like you were just talking about. Yeah. And I wanted to end on that, brother.
Man, this first episode was super powerful, man. You know how we can go all night, man.
We can.
I want to thank you for even going on this journey with me, because when I get on journeys like this, like I got on my stock journey where, like I told you, I was playing with it a lot of years, and now they hit 2 years where straight where I haven't pulled nothing out. Like I don't even have a withdrawal button on my brokerage accounts, right? Because now I understand it's a long game. Now I understand, that that's what I do now is make sure I'm 43, right? So now every day what I say is I'm gonna make sure that 50-year-old live a great life.
Beautiful.
That's what I live for. And I'm trying to teach my kids to, like, if you 13, make sure that 20-year-old you're gonna be straight. That makes you walk and operate different day to day. And it sounds crazy because I'm gonna worry about myself in 7 years. I need to worry about my bills today, but you don't realize when you start thinking like that and operating like that and investing like that, you start taking care of the person today too, because you start moving and making different decisions and thinking different. And you start realizing that I don't really need to do that. I don't really need to, so it might sound like you're prolonging some fun or activities or whatever because you're thinking long term, but you actually better your life today. Like I'm better now because I'm more thoughtful. Like when we get off here, I'll be listening to whatever videos I'll be listening to, do my little exercise, work on my movie that I got a movie that we're gonna film next month. So I'm working on that now. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I attack this at every angle, all day, every day, and every now and then I might get to watch an episode of Martin or something. That's my relaxed time. That's my relaxed time. So check out some good FBA comedy shows. So you know what I'm saying. And then power me back up. Then I get right back in it. There you go. Give me a little sleep, man. But I will appreciate this journey because this episode 1, and that's what I emailed you, episode 1, because I understand, like when I do everything I do, I understand how it's gonna better me in the next 6 months. Like just having these regular conversations, what do myself in 6 months look, sound, and operate like? And like you said earlier, that we're not here. Like I got a course coming out, I got a community coming out that I'm gonna be teaching people how to start. It's called Fast Food to Wealth. So I'm really teaching you, if you got a fast food job, this is how we build wealth. So it's going to be a community, and I'll tell you about the poor get richer instead of rich get richer. So we're going to be building that. And so to build mindsets and to start people with their journey. But the thing is, man, it's a beautiful struggle, man. And we're going to struggle anyway, right? Like whatever you plan on, whatever struggle you're going through, because everybody's different. Everybody's not struggle, but you're still in a struggle. You know what I'm saying? There's some people you're not struggling, like you might not be struggling like how your life's going to get paid or something like that, but you're still in a certain struggle, and you can't afford too many things to go wrong. That's pretty, until you get to a certain level, you can't afford too many things to go wrong, or you will be in potential struggle mode, and most of America's at that point. And that's just being realistic. Even six figure, what they say, 1 out of every 4 millionaire is living check to check. Like, so right. Yeah, like these are just facts of how we just not good with money, and we don't think from power and how to operate. So just building with you on this show, man, I want to make sure, because my job is to better myself every day and really execute. you know, like I don't really want to do nothing just to do nothing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like if it ain't really impactful, we don't need to do, you know what I'm saying? And so I make sure everything I'm doing attached to got some kind of impact. Some things gonna be bigger impact than others, but as long as it's some kind of impact, and if nothing else, I know iron sharpen iron, and the ideas that we're gonna throw off each other, or the mindset or the thought processes, that's gonna be just power within itself. And then we just grow from that, man. And like I said, as we build this network, like I told you, this will be our show. So like we get some things jumping, revenue coming in. Like this is ours. This is not you just a co-host on a Tony show. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Like I'm really here to build something. And everybody I sit at the table with, this is how I end. I don't sit at the table or ask nobody to come to the table that I don't think about how do I make sure you and your family straight. And I don't even want nobody at the table that don't even think about, like, damn, as when I collide with this brother, how can I make sure him and his family straight? And I think if we all operate like that from the meeting joint of whatever we're trying to put together, it makes everything easier. Like I wouldn't even waste your time unless I figure out a way. Like, hey man, we can do this play, we can put this, we can have these conversations, we can do this, let's build this. Because I'm like, okay, shit. I know what benefits. I know if we win together, I know who benefit on the other side of this camera or the other rooms of the house. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying? And that's just what I think. I don't think no other kind of way, because that's power. Because where's most of the power in families? All these businesses last names, McDonald's, these are last names. These are family last names.
They are.
And black people always say, I don't do business with family. We don't do business at all. That's why we say that, because we don't even really do business. We got a couple of mom and pop stores, and you know, and that's why I throw out private equity. And I'm raising the stakes. I want us to talk about big boy stuff.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? I studied yesterday, 2 weeks ago, made 100 billion in one day. Like, I want us to stop being scared of real big boy talk. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't care about this little 50,000, 100,000. Man, it's people that'll blow that in a second. You know what I'm saying? I want us to talk. Not everybody, of course. I'm talking about the people that's in my circle of power men. Every man ain't for power. Every man, and that's cool. Every man ain't for that. You might be this guy, you might be that. You're still good for the movement. But when I'm in my conversation, you got to realize that, okay, even if I ain't about power, when Tony talking, he only talk with power. So I'm gonna respect him. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? Don't ask me to get out of my zone because it's a little too big or too much for you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
absolutely.
So no,
that's love. And I'll say this one last thing. I knew it was serious from the words that you used, and the words you used, and it's very, very short and sweet, is we. It was never, this is mine. I'm gonna just, you can do this, that, and the third. No, it was always a we. And there's something very powerful about that you brought that up, because it leads my mind to other conversations I've had with people that are multimillionaires. And I'm gonna tell you something they've all said. Almost all of them have said this. Out of frustration, and you may have heard this, out of frustration, they'll be like, well, I'm providing for so many people. Who's asking me, what can you do for me? Yeah. And it doesn't necessarily have to be somebody that's a power broker with you.
Yeah.
When you're having a conversation with someone, whether they have better financial means, or maybe their mind is in a different space and they're getting there financially. Okay. How are you helping them? And the moment that you said that, I wouldn't have brought you to the table if I wasn't thinking and saying, how can we help each other? I can't do nothing without you as well. We're doing it together. See, that's power within itself. So this is going to do nothing but elevate. It's going to do nothing but elevate, because some of the same things, and I'm not going to say too much about them, that you're doing, I have on the side on another eye on the stove cooking as well. I just got to throw some more seasoning in it to put some meat in that sucker, and then it's gonna come off, and then we'll present it on this channel. You'll present your businesses. I'll present different things, because we talked about this stuff in the past.
For sure.
And we'll present them and then talk real brass tacks. I love talking real brass tacks, so people look and they'll go back in the archives and say, man, that episode y'all did when y'all talked about NVIDIA, or maybe you talked about your old grandmama's recipe, that did something for me. I can take that and peel back the onion and use that. That's going to elevate everybody's mental, no matter who you are. You see what I'm saying? that's very powerful. And again, brother, I am very gracious and appreciative for you to have me on this platform and for us to take this journey together.
Oh yeah, we on it. We kicked it off with a bang, man. So
yes, sir.
I appreciate you, everybody. Yeah, like, subscribe. So go let them know where to follow you at, man. Are you on Instagram too, aren't you?
I am.
Yeah, let them know where to follow you.
I have personal channels, but anybody can follow me. I don't necessarily kick anybody out of any social media I have unless they just doing blatant stuff that I ain't got time for. Yeah. And that is just the name that you see on the tag, Mr. Ishmael, on Instagram, on Threads. I don't have a YouTube channel, personal YouTube channel yet. I will soon. Yeah. And on Facebook, it's Mr. But it's spelled differently, MSTR_, same last name. Only person you're going to see around like that. And I'm on Twitter as well. On Twitter is the same way. So almost every social media platform, you'll find me there.
That's what's up, man. Well, I appreciate you. We started off with a bang. I look forward to next week. I'll be in contact with you throughout the week, man. Let's just keep building and keep growing, man. So I appreciate you. You have a good night, and I'll see you next week. Thank y'all for tapping in, like, and subscribe.
All right, bro.
Peace.